20 past 9, 32 our number. There's been plenty of talk and publicity over recent months about the situation of many of our farmers, our dairy farmers in particular. When milk has become such an issue in the supermarkets, they've been using some of them as one of their lost leaders to get people in the door, and they've been paying, very, very low prices. That's the end result. The price of milk at the farm gate to farmers has dropped from 59 cents a litre to 42 cents a litre. I think in the last couple of years, well, certainly since deregulation. I saw some reports last weekend suggesting that this may be over, that the supermarkets are backing off a bit, and that there may be a better deal coming up for dairy farmers. I wanted to find out if that's right or not. Greg Dennis is a bloke who's taken matters into his own hands rather than sign a 2-year contract that would see his dairy farm lose money. He's launched Scenic Rim for Real Milk on his own, and he's on the line. G'day, Greg.
Chris, how you going?
Mate, very, very well. Did you see those reports last weekend that I mentioned?
Yeah, look, it's interesting to follow. It's been a bit of an ongoing soap opera played out by the two big companies and within the media. Unfortunately, I think what we are seeing over time is that they're not backing up their sentiment with action.
Okay, so it's words only.
Well, so far that's exactly what it's been. We must remember Woolies have been keen to use Coles as the scapegoat, and quite effectively since it started. But they said that 2 years and 20 days ago that the milk war shouldn't have really happened and that they don't support it. So now, finally, that the downward pressure on dairy farming is seeing a desperate shortage, and that shortage is today, not next year or the year after.
When you say shortage of farmers or shortage of milk?
Both. A lot of the consumers aren't aware that there's truckloads of milk coming from south of the Queensland border today to fill the shortfall.
But this was a prediction for people within the industry when this first started, Greg, that this would drive people out of the business in Queensland and Victoria would become the centre of milk production in the country.
Yeah, but...
I'm not saying that's right, I'm just saying that's what people said.
That's fine, but there's a lot of things from the outside looking in that the consumers aren't aware of. Victoria is still predominantly a seasonal calving area. The southern states, it's very difficult to milk cows in the winter time. So if Queensland were to rely on those southern states for our milk 12 months of the year, that's not going to work very effectively, because there's a very small amount of milk in Victoria for the 3 months leading up to their late winter spring calving season.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing that you've got to take into account is Victoria is already established as predominantly an export market. That's the way it's structured. So as soon as things pick up a little bit globally, I mean, there's been downward pressure around the world, of course, with the financial crisis, and also the Australian dollar is hurting exports. When those things change, and that won't take a big change, Victorian farmers will get a price close to 50 cents a litre on farm.
Yep.
So by the time you put fuel costs on top of that, it will be much more expensive to bring milk from Victoria to Queensland than it would have been to save our industry and save our farmers in the first place.
Righto, so you say now that there's a shortage of farmers and a shortage of milk here, and it's coming from over the border. Is it gone? Is that recoverable?
Oh, look, I think that you need to strengthen the industry to be able to build numbers once again. So it won't happen overnight. Now the cattle and the dairies that have gone out of the system in Queensland, that's happened over a 2-year period. Now we're 2 years away from milking the calves that we have being born now that farmers replace. They rear their own replacements, and those cattle are 2 years away from being productive. So it's not going to happen in the next week or the next month. It'll take 2 to 3 years, but it is possible to restore what was a profitable industry, but it's certainly not a profitable industry right now.
Okay, so what did you do? And what prompted you to do what you've done?
Well, we were certainly we were feeling the pressure of making a decision. Look, all the signs were quite good within the industry until that that nobody saw coming, Australia Day 2011. So we were getting a fair milk price.
Sorry, just for people who don't understand, what was the significance of that?
Well, what happened when the milk price was crashed in 2011? The effect to ourselves, so we were contracted with a 5-year contract on a good price. It was a fair price, and we still had 2 years left to run in our contract. So our price didn't change. We had a guaranteed minimum, so we still had a good price. But a lot of farmers had been investing in the infrastructure on their farm because they were getting paid a fair price, so they were able to invest wisely in areas that could then make a return on that investment. When the milk price was crashed in 2011, some farmers felt the impact quicker than others, depending when they came off contract.
Yep.
So what effectively had to happen, for the processor's own sake, they had to pass on that price difference to the farmer because they weren't able to get for themselves a fair price to get their milk into the supermarket.
Yep. Okay, so that's when it hit the wall, as it were. So what did you decide to do as a result?
Yes, well, we tried to have negotiations with our processor to renew our contract. What they were offering us was a 25% pay cut for our farm gate milk price, and we weren't satisfied with that. I did make a counter offer that, of course, they rejected. There's no point of negotiation for farmers when you're dealing with multi-million-dollar international companies. That you're just another little spot on the radar. So we did make the decision to do our own thing. We were forced into a position of considering leaving industry or going out on our own. So that's what we did. We have put plans in place and are currently building the processing facility on farm. And look, to be honest, Chris, the media have been extremely kind. I mean, they've really engaged with us and what we're doing and what we're about, and I think public sentiment has equally been supportive. So, I mean,
it's kind of a weird thing, isn't it, Greg? I mean, you say public sentiment is on your side, and people understand and don't like the situation we're in because basically, in Australia we believe in a fair go, and yet they walk into the supermarket and buy the dollar bill.
Yeah, and
can't connect the two.
No, that's partly because they don't understand, and we all do things in life where we don't understand the full impact. If it doesn't affect us, then it doesn't. We just don't register. Yeah. You know what that means on the larger scale.
So are you online yet? You up and running?
Our milk is we're still set for a May launch, and so we have a few things to put in place before that happens. So at the moment it's just about creating an awareness for what we're doing and what our product is about, and then we will be certainly in shops. We're looking at southeast corner of Queensland.
You'll get into Brisbane?
Definitely be in Brisbane,
right.
Yeah.
And it's called Scenic Rim for Real Milk. That's
right.
So the number 4 and then real.
Yeah, for real.
Terrific. So you'd say May?
May, yeah. And by the way, Chris, I hear that the poor old beaches down the coast have copped the flogging, so if anyone wants something to do in the Easter holidays, we also run tours on the farm.
Oh, terrific.
And we, so a big part of the message we're trying to put out there is to reconnect the city people with the country people and what we're about on farm and what we do to produce food for them. So it's an important part of the message that, that's trying to bridge that gap where, as you just explained, people are still buying dollar milk, but they don't understand the impact.
Yeah, exactly right.
So, and even, I think that we can reconnect. It's just that somebody has to make the effort to do that, so we're really keen to be a part of that education process.
Yeah, I reckon it's terrific because you're right, the connection between the bush and the city in so many places around the country has been lost. Up near a shopping complex not far from where I live, they often bring in little animals from the zoo.
Yeah.
And the kids are amazed. They've never seen a chicken.
Yeah.
It's just unbelievable. I mean, you hear these stories about surveys that done where kids have said they, thought milk came in bottles or in cartons, didn't know about cows. but you know, if you're trying to counter that sort of stuff, mate, then all power to you. Good on you.
Yeah, thanks, Chris. And look, I think through the kids at schools, we can probably also help for their parents to learn again, because a lot of the 20 and 30-year-olds have lost touch as well. We're going back a bit further, and in my vintage, you know, there was kids that we always had cousins or friends coming to the farm holiday time, but there's less and less farms available for friends and relatives to do that. So, yeah, no, look, there's a lot of exciting things happening. I mean, I'm personally a little bit torn between where we were and where we're heading, because I still have so many good friends that feel helpless within the dairy industry, so they don't really see a light at the end of the tunnel, and that frustrates me. But from our own perspective, you know, we're looking at some really exciting things happening.
Yeah.
And hopefully, you know, we can get that message out there and make a difference, even if it's only in a small way.
Absolutely, Greg. I mean, things are changing, and you've got to change with them. You know, it's the definition of madness, isn't it? It's doing the same thing over and over again and expecting something to change.
Definitely. And look, Chris, just one other thing. I have been getting asked quite a bit on my Facebook page my thoughts on what Woolies are doing.
Yep.
In contracting directly with farmers.
Yeah.
And again, you know, hypothetically, it makes sense that they would do that. But I would be concerned for the farmers what level of power they would have in any negotiation in the future.
Do you know what the price is like in those deals?
Look, I think it's been all fairly quiet. I don't know if it's been made public. Well, I suppose we'll hear at some point what it is. Yeah. And look, it's okay if Woolies take that path and they do treat the farmers with respect and offer a fair deal, well, and that would be great.
Well, we'll watch and see, Greg.
Yeah, only the future will tell us what happens there.
If people want to come down to your farm, how do they find out the details?
Yeah, look, we've got a Facebook page and a website up and running, so they can either search for real milk or robotic dairy, and that'll bring us up.
For real milk?
Yeah, we're just on the Mount Lindsay Highway, south of Bodessa, so it's really easy to find.
Good on you, Greg. Good to talk to you, mate. Terrific what you're doing. Hope everything goes well for you. If we can help, just yell.
Appreciate your time. Thanks, Chris.
Okay, mate. Bye. See you. Greg Dennis, who's set up his own milk production business. He's launching Scenic Rim for Real Milk. That's number 4 of Real After It Milk. Got the farm open if you want to go down and have a look at the chooks and the cows and all those things. As I say, I see the kids up at the local supermarket near us, where they have the little pigs, goats and ducks and chooks, and they've never seen it before. Not live anyway, maybe seen pictures. So it's terrific. So I hope Greg goes well. Pop down and see him. I'm sure he'd love to have you down there. 13 13 32 is the number. It's 27 to 10. Chris Adams sitting in for Gregie.